Hey, welcome to Leaving CrazyTown with Finn and Sarah. I'm Finn.
I'm Sarah. How's everybody doing?
What are we going to talk about today, Sarah?
Well, today, I think it's your turn. I don't want to expose anymore. So
No, well, I didn't know if you were going to say what we're going to talk about today. Once again, what is the mantra? Speak up, speak up, speak up. And I had an incident recently where I was in the car with a bunch of people. Some I knew well, some I did not.
Right.
And the conversation started going, talking trash about other people behind their back.
You've all been in this scenario.
Yeah, people we all knew.
Yeah.
Now, I was getting extremely uncomfortable.
Yep.
And it was my vehicle, and I wanted to say, can we change the subject? I'm uncomfortable talking about people.
Right.
But my codependency derailed me. I'm sure you all thought I was cured. I've mentioned that many times, how I'm an expert in codependency. Well, I'm an expert in living in codependency. So anyway, I had all these thoughts and rationalization. Sarah and I we talk about rationalizing a lot. So people are talking about people, and right away I'm like, oh my God, I'm trapped in a car, blah, blah, blah. So I get a little activated because it's a long drive, and I didn't want to like upset people. I didn't want to hurt people's feelings. And in the past, I had actually said to someone, I don't want to talk about people. And they got mad at me.
Got it.
And they stomped off. I would say I probably didn't even say it as clear as that. I was probably like, I don't talk about people anymore. Poo-hoo on you. So, obviously they had reason to be mad. But that's what I was thinking about that. Oh my God,
Right.
Last time I opened my mouth, it didn't go well. But of course, I'm in a different place. I could have said it in a different way. I could have said, I'm uncomfortable with this conversation. Can we change it? But none of that rational thinking was popping into my head.
Well, and you're in a vehicle, which
Right.
kind of can feel trapped
Yeah, I'm
sometimes.
feeling trapped
Yeah.
and everything. So what does Finn do? In front of people, some of them I don't know that well. I say, listen, I just want to get it out there that everything you're talking about these people doing, and there was some pretty intense things, I've done it in the past. I probably will do it again. I'm guilty of everything you're saying stuff about these people because I was so uncomfortable. The only way that I could speak up was by trashing myself. And the thing is, I had done stuff these people were doing, but did I want to share that with these people? No. But it was the only way to make myself feel better.
Right.
Because I couldn't
Right.
speak up.
Right.
What do you think about that, Dr.
I
Michelle?
think it's actually brilliant. I mean, I know the idea is to speak up, but in a way, you kind of said what you wanted in a different way.
So
you're like, I've done it, which you're basically saying to them. So why are you judging people? Because I've done it. We've all probably done it.
Well, they can judge people. I didn't feel comfortable like
Yes.
I was participating in it, which is why I was like leveled the playing field.
I thought it was great.
Guilty.
Thought it was great. Yeah, I mean, it's a great way to without gossiping, you kind of handled it in a different way. Now, did you notice later when you were kind of, evaluating the situation, what do you think came up? Anything else come up around that situation that you didn't
talking
notice?
about people?
Yeah. Or your response?
Well, I don't know if I would have shared that with the people that were in the car.
God.
But ultimately, it was the most sane or the most level playing field I could create. And I made it about me instead of about them talking about people. But I didn't perceive it as positive because I still felt like I have a right to not be uncomfortable with people trashing. And, there was somebody newly sober in the car, and I didn't think that, there was a lot more to it than... I don't want to give people the impression that everyone in recovery talks about people behind their back because I don't.
Right.
My therapist actually said, how did you end up in the vehicle with somebody who's so different and doesn't understand that that's something you wouldn't tolerate?
Interesting question.
And obviously there was, I explained that to him and how that happened. But for me, I did feel like I wasn't as direct as I wanted to be.
Absolutely. And the thing with this, though, because I've been in program for years, this is a common thing. When people start to recover and do step work and try to live differently, I've heard this at meetings over the years where you're in a group. How do you handle it when someone says a racist joke or someone says something really offensive, or how do you handle it? And there are different ways, I'm sure. And I think when you're in a vehicle, it's different because then if you say something, you've got to be in the car for the next 45 minutes with the discomfort. So that's a little different. But how do we really speak our own truth, be true to ourselves, not participate in something we don't believe in, and tolerate the feelings if someone gets upset? Like, that's not our business. You know what I mean? And so I'm just thinking, you guys all have experienced this. What are some ways? You got a thought on that, bud?
To tolerate the feelings?
Tolerate the feelings, and what gets in the way of us, like, speaking up? Like, say someone says...
fear gets in my way. It's the only thing that ever gets in the way. Fear,
Right.
and then being trapped in the car and being uncomfortable.
Yes.
I mean...
Yes.
What comes to mind immediately is isolate, don't spend time with anyone. Hide in your house, build a cave, go live in the woods.
Okay, these weren't the tools I was thinking of.
I know, I was just being honest. Like,
I
to me,
know,
like,
I know. All right.
how do we save ourselves when we speak up and we're uncomfortable? Disappear. Like,
Shut down, be enraged.
well, I mean, at one point I did leave the area. Like,
Right.
that, I do that
You
a
were
lot,
taking care of
evidently.
yourself.
You know, my wife said I used to just, like, look at people and turn and walk away when they were talking to me when I didn't like what they were saying. But, you know, I don't know.
Well, the thing is, too, a lot of it is how we say it. And I do think there's a skill at kind of owning our experience. Like, say I'm in a group of 3 people and someone starts telling a gay joke or something. And my brother's gay, I'm not homophobic, whatever. And I feel super uncomfortable. It's one thing to say, oh, you asshole for doing that. When the person, and it's another thing to just say, gosh, I'm really uncomfortable with that. I may need to leave the conversation because this doesn't feel okay to me. You know what I mean? One way you're just owning it, and
Right.
it's not about the other people.
But no matter what happens, and no matter how you say it, there will be people that
People
are going to
will
be
get
upset
offended.
because
Yeah.
they're going to realize, like, they either support what they're saying and you don't, and you're different, or they're going to feel attacked. So really, the way I tolerate feeling uncomfortable, because it happens a lot. Look at me, I'm uncomfortable a lot. It's just the way it is. What I do is I remind myself that it's really not, I'm safe. First thing,
Yes.
I'm always telling myself I'm safe because
Yes.
I have this scenario when I get fearful, like, somebody's going to hurt me.
Right, absolutely.
When I could probably kick someone else's butt. But
Right.
that doesn't matter. So, like, the unsafe little kid, I remind myself I'm safe. I remind myself that they're entitled to their feelings and
Yep.
that's not about me.
Yep.
And I empower myself. If the situation becomes intolerable or unsafe,
Yes,
I can leave.
you can leave.
It doesn't matter if we're all in the same car.
Right. I think too, yes, I totally get what you're saying. And I think it's also, are the people you're with relationships that, for example, you want to continue with, you feel really strongly about? Like, for example, if I'm with a group of 2 friends and one of the good friends says something that's totally like I didn't even know about them, then I could express my feelings about it, knowing that we can just acknowledge our differences because I want to keep the relationship. If there are people that I don't necessarily want a relationship with, then that might be different. I could walk away. I don't have to. Do you know what I'm saying, bud?
Well, my friends, there's none of my friends that I like. The people that I call friends,
Right.
I
You
would
would
have
think.
spoke up to any one of them.
You would think.
Like, not a
Yeah.
problem. I wouldn't
Right.
even be concerned. The only concern was the unknown because I didn't really know this person that well.
Right.
So I didn't know how they were going to act. But
Right.
I do not have friendships with people I can't talk to. Like,
I get it.
what I call a legit friend,
Yes.
but sometimes we're in
Yes.
scenarios where we're, with people we don't know that well and we can, tolerate it and leave, or speak up and tolerate it and then leave or whatever. I don't know.
Yeah, I think there's a bunch of options. I also think when we look at the codependency part, though, if we are safe, like I would be safe in the situation I was talking about, sometimes I think just like when we're true to ourselves, it helps the other person.
You're not boring me.
I think it's the same thing with this type of behavior. If I speak up for myself, I think ultimately other people can learn from that. I mean, so I don't know. If I'm going to be safe and I know nobody's going to hurt me, I still think the better thing is to speak up. I don't know.
Me too.
But again, all situations are different.
I checked out for a minute.
I know.
You know why? Well, I don't know. I was just thinking about how handsome I look, and I got kind of stuck on that. And then you were talking, and I was just looking at me.
Do you know what I put up with here? I just want to say that. I do laugh a lot, which is great. Okay, message of the week. We're wrapping it up.
Speak up, tolerate your feelings.
Be true to yourself and check in with yourself and say, and again, it's also okay not to speak up when you feel totally uncomfortable. That's okay too. We totally
I was
respect
surprised that you said the method in which I handled the situation was good.
Right. Yeah. It's all about doing what works for you. That's what codependency
in the moment, and that doesn't mean it's always going to be the same thing.
And it can change.
Yes. And sometimes we're in a state of shock over what's going on, and we need to take a beat and then say, okay, next time I'm in this situation, this is how I'd like to handle it.
Yes, because sometimes we do have an old response that, could be a trauma response, it could be an old activation, and obviously, I'm apparently boring today.
No, I actually gave up caffeine except for 1 cup of coffee a day, so I'm pretty...
God.
I've been drinking herbal tea for days, and clearly I haven't quite got my own juju back, and we just had lunch.
All right, we're ready for a nap. All right, we love you. We're out of here. Fasten your seatbelt. Be yourself.